Greetings one and all to another Dark Rider pony analysis. I am the Nightmare Rider, Major Mind, reminding you as always that even a cheeseburger can be deconstructed to its original source. In my review so far, I have brought to the discussion table not just analysis of each individual episode, but also discussing common critiques that the Brony analysis community frequently discusses each season. One of the most common critiques of any media is when the story is quote-unquote predictable. All stories follow a particular narrative structure, often sharing common themes as stated by Joseph Campbell's monomyth. While we cannot possibly ever predict 100% where every minor detail will go, we can spot overarching trends in how the plot is set up and how the characters can be expected to react. However, only in a few specific circumstances do we end up complaining that the episode is predictable or obvious. As Mr. Enter said in his review of Rainbow Falls, when discussing the issue of contrivances, something unusual has to happen in the plot, otherwise there would be no plot. It's all about how well the writer can justify it and hide it from our immediate conscious awareness. By that extension, predictability is not by itself a bad thing. It's not so much about the destination as the journey we take to get there. While Rainbow Falls had a poorly thought out journey to get there, Three's the Crowd almost is the exact opposite. It becomes pretty obvious that Discord is faking his illness, so the question becomes less if Discord is tricking them, but how is he tricking them? As well as what is he going to do to achieve this goal? How far is he going to go? Another thing this episode does better than Rainbow Falls is covering up contrivances. Everything we know about the characters should make more logical reasons in favour of the scenario happen, rather than reasons that it shouldn't happen. Bulk Bicep should have been able to fly because it is never explained why he can't, while the relationship between Twilight and Cadence, on the other hand, is well established. It makes sense because we know they are close to one another, with the episode even going so far as to, once again, point out that most of the times they have been able to see each other, it has been when the fate of Equestria is resting on their shoulders. I think if anyone only got to see their extended family and friends when they needed to save the world, the first thing on your mind would be able to have some personal time with them when there is no such pressure to be had. Likewise with Fluttershy, it is her defining character trait that she is essentially the equestrian equivalent of a Beastmaster. So when she gets an invitation to travel far away from Ponyville to take care of some incredibly adorable animals, which is also possible foreshadowing for an upcoming episode, she takes the opportunity. Now that we have been given a logical reason for Fluttershy to have a minimal involvement in the episode, as well as the primary conflict of Discord needing medical attention while Twilight and Cadence want to spend time together, Discord can enter stage left and put the primary premise of the episode into motion. This scene is where the two major problems of this episode start to pop up. The first and most prominent of the two is the pacing. I am acutely aware of how much this seems to be complained about, and usually it's one of the more minor problems. In fact, for what we were actually given, it was one of the better aspects of Rainbow Falls. But it unfortunately does stick out here like a sore thumb. It takes at least 10 minutes of a 22-minute episode just to bring Discord into the picture. We have an annoying amount of superfluous dialogue and exposition, which only serves to keep telling the audience what we already know. We only need to establish once or twice during the initial setup that Twilight wants this day to go perfect, along with her friends reassuring her that they will make it so. Anything in addition, especially with how much dialogue goes between the main four and Discord, just for Discord to get to Twilight, is not needed. It would have been considerably better if Applejack, Rarity and Pinkie Pie actually tried to take care of Discord by themselves, while Rainbow Dash still refuses since she has the least amount of trust in Discord. This could have quickly resulted in them getting Discord's blue flu, which Discord moves on from. This isn't far from what we have already seen, and it would have made the uses of Chekhov's gun more effective, since they would be actively trying to stop Discord from interfering with Twilight and Cadence instead of just saying they would in the first place. If this episode had gone straight to Twilight and Cadence, there would need to be a much greater escalation of Discord's manipulation before they say enough is enough. Pinkie Pie is the second problem here, since she is being flanderized to the point where she has an attention span of a goldfish, as she unfortunately had in some recent episodes. We could have easily seen Pinkie come up with a more creative solutions to look after Discord, as well as falling for emotional manipulation, given how much she wants to see the owner pony smile. Instead, Instead, she is chasing balloons. This is just plain lazy. Thankfully, the bulk of this episode is carried by both Discord's crazy antics and the relationship between Twilight and Cadence. We see all the characters involved with Discord react skeptically, highly suspecting that Discord is playing them for fools, as he is prone to do. However, when it comes to Cadence and Twilight, this brings up a dilemma for them. They can't just ignore Discord's pleas for help, considering how much of a fuss he is making. They still need to maintain some balance of trust, since that is what their friendship was built upon to begin with. So despite the dismay of Twilight, she helps him just to get them out of her hair. This gives Discord free range to do what he is good at, every wacky and fast-paced manipulation possible. Out of all the episodes of Season 4 thus far, this has to be one of the best from pure entertainment standpoint. Discord is 100% hilarious, with his song being very reminiscent of something that would come from the likes of the genie from Aladdin. There's not much I can honestly say here, since comedy isn't something I find easy to critique, but with the timing of how everything flies in the face of Twilight and Cadence, as well as the building speed and extravagance that comes with, I was laughing the whole way through. I have said previously how Castlemania's focus on the entertainment aspect made the flaws more forgivable, considering that the series' character development was not the primary goal. Here we can see how we can have both an extremely entertaining episode as well as some good character development out of it at the same time. Twilight is finally getting the hang of flying, but still finds it difficult to some extent, as well as Cadence being out of practice from flying. It is even shown that Twilight's flying reacts to her emotions, as we established well in Princess Twilight Sparkle. Considering how they choose simply to walk on the ground most of the time rather than fly, it fits that they would only be just managing to lift Discord's chariot off the ground. We also see a bit of world building with the epic battle against the worm, which really makes the fantasy fiction lover side of me squeal with absolute joy. Unicorn magic is used as an offensive weapon is something I've wanted to see in this series for quite a while. Of course, it's revealed that once they obtained the supposed healing flower that, surprise surprise, Discord was faking his illness for a friendship test. This is where we get the chance to give some subtle moments of Discord showing his true emotions. When he is in control, he is sly, sarcastic, pleased that he is able to still manipulate ponies for his enjoyment, while still never crossing that line into full-blown chaos again. But when Cadence displays a moral that he hadn't intended her to learn and actually enjoyed herself, Discord acts like a grumpy child who didn't get his way. Fittingly, he gets his comeuppance through actually getting ill from the nasty biology of the worm that he hadn't anticipated to find all the way out here. He knew the flower was here, but not the worm. Shows how he hasn't quite planned out everything, has he? All he wanted to do was validate Twilight's friendship by his own means. Everything else he could normally care less about. The episodes end with Fluttershy taking care of him, while the rest of the main six scorn Discord for his actions. A fitting end, given that Fluttershy is now there to keep him in check again. Now for my final thoughts on this episode. Despite some clunky pacing, excessive dialogue, and flanderized Pinkie Pie, this episode was a blast to watch. Discord is hilarious the whole way through. Twilight and Cadence have perfect chemistry between one another to play off Discord, resulting in stronger character development for them both. Pinkie Pie's flanderization isn't much of a problem in this episode, seeing as she didn't have the spotlight and didn't need to be involved nearly as much. Considering what we need to set up, and the fact that all of the events of this episode was built on a solid foundation, this is definitely one of the best episodes of Season 4 so far. I give Three's a Crowd a straight A grade. Until the next review, this is the Nightmare Rider, Major Mind, riding out.